And we live. We are live.
Shut
Well,
up.
welcome everybody. How's everyone doing on this beautiful Wednesday? You know what it is Wednesday, so you already know what time it is. It is the watch list, and we have a special one for you today. But first and foremost, we shall introduce ourselves. It is me, BGW Predictions Champion, Solo Nolo Green.
It's your boy, you know what I'm saying? The one and only Mac Tardy, you heard me?
Hey, absolutely. And coming in as our co-host for the day, for the evening, you already know who it is. He is our brother. He is your brother. He is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. One of the most entertaining. Uh, you need to know some things. You can always talk to my man Low. And
Thanks.
he is the host of the Locker Room Lead, who, if I remember correctly, last person you had on was Alex Kane. Excellent episode. And it's our boy, Lorenzo. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, brothers. How y'all doing, man? You already know who it is, man. Glad to be here for another episode of the Watch List. You know what I mean? We back in the States for it. You know what I mean? I'm glad my brother Mac here with us today.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Nolo. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to I'm about to say shout out to Nick and shout out to Scott, but you know what I mean? Same difference.
Definitely the TIP,
You know what I mean?
with him, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Chaz,
Absolutely.
man. Hopefully he get here with us in a minute, man. But it's all good. Feeling good tonight, man.
Absolutely. Peace to our man AO, the vocals that you about to hear very shortly. Very shortly. Meek shouting out the scarf. We see it for our mans. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, man. But yeah, let's already get this joint started.
Why does it matter to me? It's in my veins, baby. It's in my blood. You understand? Since kindergarten, since I was about this high, I've been watching wrestling.
Watch this. This ain't the pod for the gossip kid. BGW watch list. Black guys, civilized them 85s. Acknowledge the nerd that knows with the vibes. If you catch my live, Scotland goes live. No logo, bell the bell. 5 leave it or leave it off the list of them holy grails. Speak raps with Chaz and D-Mac. 3 count on D-Mac. Telling pause to relax. Watch this. The watch list. Black guy. Watch this, the watch list. Black guy.
You already know what time it is, man. All right, bro. Now, it's the watch list. Our man Lorenzo's here. He hit us off with a classic. Go ahead and tell us what you got, my brother.
So, in this thing we love so much, not only wrestling, not just wrestling, but World Wrestling Federation Wrestling, World Wrestling Entertainment Wrestling. There are 2 gentlemen who absolutely, Mac. Thank you so much, my brother. There we go. The winged eagle with the blue globe. Very important. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 gentlemen from the great state of Texas who have, for the past 30 years, for lack of a better term, undertaken the duty of being the locker room leaders in that particular company, and that is 1, Michael Hickenbottom, Shawn Michaels, and 2, Mark Calloway, the Undertaker. Now, you know, they didn't, you know, first touch base in 09. You know, this goes back to, you know, this goes back 97, 98 era, when things wasn't, you know, so bright. You dig what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot going on in 97 and 98, as we were just covering in the, you know, beautiful documentary, right, titled Who Killed WCW. And definitely shout out to our friends Hearts and Stan. But you know, traction was gained back in that company. And, you know, these 2 gentlemen was able to link back up. Granted, Shawn had to lose a smile for a little bit. You dig what I'm saying, right there in 98 in the casket match. we had, little brother Kane kind of get involved in this thing too. You dig what I'm saying? Hell in a Cell, In Your House, real like, the test of time. Like at that time, those guys had to see each other in that company. But, we get a Royal Rumble. Those guys come back together. The next Royal Rumble, they're 1 and 2 in 08. And it becomes apparent that we need to see this match. WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels, HBK versus the Dead Man Undertaker. Back in his Dead Man gimmick. Because as we know, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had a nice little run. WrestleMania 19, the triple threat match, like, Limp Bizkit entrance and everything like that. But we got the Dead Man back at 20 against Little Brother and MSG. But for me, this is the next chapter in the streak. This is when we start kind of seeing the streak crackle a bit. It becomes a question if the streak is going to be a thing into a particular year. You know what I mean? And I believe this is the first time in which we've questioned if the streak was in danger. WrestleMania 25. Shawn Michaels, HBK, the Undertaker, man. So I just had to pick that one, just based on the matches that's been done on the watch list before that particular lineage. I just wanted to add to that, so I had to pick 25.
Oh, absolutely. So we usually like to ask this question. So, what made you pick this match? Like you said, there's a long history between these two. In a lot of people's estimations, this is probably like the best match between the two of them. Personally, my favorite between the two is the Hell in a Cell match where Kane debuts. But completely, you can never go wrong with a lot of their matches because either for storyline wise or just for the match itself, they always deliver. So, what made you pick this one?
What made me pick this one? It basically defines their I want to say rivalry, but I don't think that HBK and Taker is necessarily a rivalry. They are an interesting partnership because, as we know, they weren't like the best of co-workers necessarily. They weren't necessarily on the same page like with each other's personal back in the day. But after Shawn kind of got his life together a bit, and I think after they were able to kind of be in quarters with each other, probably have certain personal conversations, able to kind of definitely be on one accord and able to go out and have matches and be able to show folks that they are, shout out to Heartbreak Julio, dance partners. But for one, that's the thing right here. I wanted to pick 26. I wanted to pick career versus streak here. I really did. And it's very interesting too, because, speaking of Heartbreak Julio, Heartbreak Kid right now streaming on all platforms. The intro WrestleMania 25 features not the promo from 25, but the promo from 26, where they're talking about career versus streak, right? Even though the song is titled WrestleMania 25, but I think that promo defines who these two men are in this company, but this match at 25 defines who they were. You dig what I'm saying? So what made me pick this one is the story kind of coming into this match, right? I remember a particular episode of SmackDown in which Shawn Michaels comes out with like 10, 15 druids, but the druids are in white. But also Shawn is in white. He has on the whole get up, the hat, the jacket, everything. But the small detail that I really appreciate about this episode of SmackDown is, at this point, SmackDown was Taker's show. The small detail that I really appreciate about this particular promo is that Shawn has on the white MMA gloves. This is a random thing. I was kind of like, I appreciated that there was no match that was worked, right? But the small detail of Michaels having on those MMA gloves and holding that microphone, picking his head up and smiling, and the message that he began to deliver about how his light will always outshine Taker's darkness. And I thought that was such a poetic, line to take into this match because, at this point, like I said, Taker has kind of slipped back into his dead man role. We know Michaels for being a certain type of performer in the late 90s, right? When we think of certain words and descriptive phrases, and even down to the colors he wore, Michaels was a very bright presence on television, right? The colors, the music, he's on his own theme song, the way he looks, the hair, the flamboyance, as they used to say, very bright, very, in your face, right? Peacocking. Taker, at very eccentric. You dig what I'm saying? Taker had all of those you know, the darkness, the ministry of darkness, even down to something like the American Badass character. There was a bit of darkness in that. You dig what I'm saying? Like the image of motorcycle clubs and shit like that. You know what I mean? And so for me, I think that was such a poetic line because Shawn Michaels at this point had found like God. He found Christ. And not only that, but previous to this feud with Taker coming into this one, he was kind of locked into a feud with JBL. And JBL kind of being his boss and the person that was in charge of him, his employer, right? And I thought that was those days on Raw was interesting, right? He ended up like, being backstage with Taker one day, and Taker says to him, like in the midst of this JBL thing, it's hell trying to get to heaven. And I know that, like, as a worker in this society, in this country, being somebody that goes to work for folks, your boss, your employer, certain descriptive language comes up about our time being working people, being people that are employed. You know what I mean? It's sometimes not the best time that we're having. It sometimes feels like hell, right? To try to get to heaven. Heaven, if it's that promotion, right? Or making more money, we always thinking of a better situation in work. So I thought that, like, by these guys being employees of the WWE, but just this story in general, it was so good. But with this premise of Michaels, outshining Taker with his like newfound light, and definitely, attempting to be able to finally beat him clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of a WrestleMania ring, like you can't ask for a better, prelude than that leading into this match. So that's why I definitely had to pick this one because of the story coming into it.
Absolutely. D-Mac, this match takes place in 2009. What were you doing in 2009?
I can't say, but
I respect that.
I was a sophomore in college, 2009. But a lot of good times. I was definitely I was just getting back into wrestling around that time. I kind of took a hiatus away from it from like 06 to about the end of 08. And this match, well, not this match, but this WrestleMania, the storylines leading up to WrestleMania kind of got me back into being, a week to week wrestling fan. I would like dodge here and there to watch it. Nothing was on, but just the caveat on what Lo was saying, like I did like the contrast of characters, but also the shift, if you will, of the characters because of being Shawn Michaels saying that he is the light in the darkness of the Undertaker as well. But they both was not necessarily battling with each other, but they both was kind of they was in the light of their careers because the Undertaker was just coming back from, a divorce. And then he started, getting with Michelle McCool, who was very Christian based herself, and got him into churches and stuff. Like I was, flipping around the channels late at night, and then you'll see the Undertaker on the 700 Club. Then you see Shawn Michaels on the 700 Club or TBN or something like that. Like, whoa, what's going on? Sting had a doggone movie, a Christian based movie on one of those networks. I can't forget exactly what it was, but I like the way that they played into that, role. We're not saying exactly what it was, but we already knew it was pretty much like God versus the devil, almost in a sense of what they was trying to make it seem. So it brought in a different crowd. It got Shawn Michaels pretty much comfortable in his character because, that was one of the things he was battling to coming back, is like, dang, I can't do a lot of the phallic imagery, if you will, with, with DX. So this kind of got him in a comfortable zone of, bringing his personal life into this, but also having just a plain black and white, like literally, two characters that's on the two different ends of the spectrum, and it mirrored their whole wrestling career, especially like in the locker room back if you go into, Bad Blood 98. Bad Blood's gonna be in Atlanta, so if y'all get a chance, right. But
hey, brother, hey, just thinking about, I've been thinking about it.
I know, man. I'm thinking about it too, man. I might as well, but to get back on track, Bad Blood 98 being that, Shawn wasn't the best person to be around, and Undertaker was, the true locker room leader where, he kind of held court, if you will, literally and figuratively, if you will. So it was just a big culmination of that in there, and they did a lot of other tidbits too that I like, that I seen in the promos, where the Undertaker said the hunt, like he's hunting the prey. And I know we're going to go into the match. I don't want to over jump it, but he was literally, he was like, in boxing term, he was walking down Shawn, and Shawn was pretty much like JR used to, like he would say all the time, it's a cat and mouse game, and Shawn was running away like a prey would in like the wild. And so that was them throwing those little tidbits in the promos leading up to the match, kind of gave good storyline, good psychology within the match too, that I like. So definitely one of the ones, if you will, if you're a nerd like me that kind of like paid attention to the little nuances into the match.
Oh, absolutely. So these two gentlemen, they face each other in back-to-back WrestleManias, with two totally different angles going into each one. So, Lorenzo, which one, like, I know you picked this match, but which one do you prefer? The lead up to 25 match or the lead up to 26?
I prefer the lead up to 25. Because I think by the time we get to 26, it's like we had an HBK Taker match, and we was just waiting, for the return match, because like it was evident that we all needed one. You know what I mean, based on the reactions of it. But I definitely kind of prefer to lead up to 25, because when we think about the one episode of Raw, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the go home where they had the funeral promo with the casket in the ring.
Yeah.
I love that so much, because it almost was like, whose funeral is this? And all the way through the build up to 25, Shawn was the one that had the upper hand, like mentally and emotionally, if you pay attention. Like, this was like Saint Michael descending into the depths of hell, like, as they say, in certain Christian spaces, before, Christ rose from the dead on Easter, right? Like, this was like the guy who had been through everything, who's been through the most pain, the most like, self-inflicted pain, it seems like, and pain from others. Just having this moment and being able to toy with the quote unquote dead man like this, like in his yard. And one thing I definitely appreciate is that the color of the casket. So the casket was like a bronze type brown color, and on the inside it was white. And we see that like when Taker thought that he was in there in the casket, he flipped it open, wasn't nobody in there. And it's funny because how you go to a funeral and you see like the photos next to the casket or coffin. It was the photo from the Hell in a Cell, if I'm not mistaken, next to it, right?
Yeah, it was
on the go home. And so he opens up the casket, and the casket lining is white. And we'll get to this, but and I don't know if you ever noticed this, but Michael's gear in the match at 25, the pants were brown and white. It kind of was like that same color of the casket and white. So that's just like another small detail that I noticed that might be a coincidence, but that's just something that just like leapt to me as well. It's like, well, damn, like everything kind of like means something. So like when you watch like a classic movie and like every shot means something, everything in the camera and everything you can see is for a particular purpose. And that's just how I was taking this one. So I definitely prefer to lead up to 25 for sure.
How about you, D-Mac?
I like the lead up to 25, but I do prefer the lead up to 26 a little bit better, because I seen the desperation in Shawn. Like, he was very, very vulnerable in that whole lead up. Like, dang, bro, like I gotta get this. And it almost sold me to the point in wrestling terms, like, or any other fighting entity, where we almost facing it right now, where Braun Breaker lost to Sami Zayn, pretty clean, right? It's like, dang, and that's a strong competitor. Yeah, and there's rumors of him getting built up, when the Netflix deal getting. So it's like, dang, we know he about to lose. We know Sami about to lose at SummerSlam now, because he already lost. He already won cleanly in the first match. So going back to WrestleMania 25 and leading up to 26, just seeing how desperate Shawn was, and he already lost to Taker first. Now, and he's one of the big fixtures, and he was still on his grind. Like, man, Shawn ain't about to retire right now, and he did. And it fucked me up. I was like, yo, no, in wrestling terms, like A plus B equals C, like in all, but they kind of flipped the switch on it. Even doing the like this match that we're talking about now, and I don't want to jump the gun, but they did a lot of stuff that old school wrestlers wouldn't do, and they almost adopted the independent type style of wrestling, far as the finishers. Like once you do a finisher, is it like maybe one, maybe two, but god damn, they was hitting them bitches off left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I thought, you know, the build up from 26 was a little bit you know, a little bit better, because it sold me on the fact that, you know, Shawn may win this shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I personally prefer the 26 lead up for pretty much the same reasoning. Just seeing, like, I love people doing, just showing how desperate they are. And because as many times as Undertaker kept telling that nigga no, and Shawn was like, then I will make your life hell until you tell me. So you're gonna have to. It's kind of like you remember, what's that Head of State with Chris Rock and Bernie Mac?
Yeah.
They kept trying to give him the debate, and he just kept showing up at the nigga everywhere the nigga was, and then he started talking about his mama. That's basically what Shawn Michaels was doing to get the Undertaker to get back in there in that ring. Man, calls to the belt. He was about to win the joint at Elimination Chamber, and Shawn was like, nope. But yeah, man.
Shawn his whole trajectory, because wasn't Shawn going for the belt too around that time?
Nah, I mean
before. Not, I'm talking about before Elimination Chamber.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. I'm about to say Shawn was chilling at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck that. We're gonna get your ass.
If I can't have the belt, you can't have the belt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now you gotta fight.
And it was Jericho, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jericho.
Who basically was who was on Shawn bumper for the longest. You know, that was Mania 19. And then like I think he put hands on Shawn's wife or some shit.
Yeah.
Like 2 years prior to that. Like, yeah, man, yeah. And and all of this is so like poetic, because even back in the day, like Taker wouldn't fight Kane at first.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that kind of, yeah. So yeah, man, this shit was, you know, full circles all around.
And my brother's keeper.
Yeah, real shit.
Yeah, pretty much, man. But nah, so we've been talking about the lead up to it. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual match.
Yes, sir.
We like to talk about like the beginning and like how the matches like start off. How did y'all feel about the start of this match?
Mac? Start of the match was pretty smooth, man. Like, you talking about like the entrance or like the actual
like the start of the match? I mean, if you want to talk about the entrance, you're more than welcome to.
Well, it was a different, like Shawn always have the big pageantry when it comes into, you know, his WrestleMania entrances. And so that's one of the big things I've always been, like every Mania that he was a part of, that's like, all right, what are you going to do now for his entrance? Almost like the Kofi spot at Rumble. Like, okay, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do this year? And it didn't disappoint. It was the exact opposite of what the Undertaker did. And it was the exact, you know, and it still told a story of the lead up and with the casket, like Lo had said earlier. So like him coming down from the heavens to meet, you know, to come down to earth, if you will, to, you know, handle a demon like the Undertaker was, you know, very poetic. And then the Undertaker still being, you know, having one of the, like, is nobody topping his entrance ever. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who you is the only thing that probably topped his entrance one year was probably Shawn Michaels doing the whole thing at WrestleMania 12, you know, coming down from the, I don't know the rafters, if you will. But you know, it was a great start of the match. It started a little slow, far as, you know, building up into the action, but you know, that definitely was is a good start up to the match.
Lorenzo?
For me, like again, the entrances, it was a contrast, right? You know, Taker comes up from underneath, right? Shawn, is descending from up down. And so for me in the beginning of this match, I think, combat wise, we seen HBK kind of going after the knee. And I don't know, exactly by heart the exact, medical complications that Taker has had with that knee. But I think it definitely told a particular story about like age in this match and the fact that these two gentlemen, I mean, regardless of age, right, had kind of hit a second gear, and not only in the company but just in their careers in general, right? And so in the beginning stages of this match, I definitely think that we saw like some strength from HBK, a lot of offense, and again, questions about like if the streak was like still going to be intact like by the end of this night. And it was like, I know that this match wasn't necessarily the main event, but where exactly this match fell on the card, the beginning stages of it, like we knew that it was about to be the match of the night.
Easily.
You know what I mean?
Just them like standing off at the beginning of it when they're just looking at each other. You definitely got the big fight feel of it, and like the ambiance and the crowd was red hot going for both of them. Really, you didn't really know who like the crowd was really going for, like more than the other one, because there's not really a clear like face and heel in this match. It was just basically like just two legends and masters of the craft going at each other.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas too,
right? Houston.
You know what I mean? So it's that, but it seemed like that the crowd was definitely a little split. But I think that like you could ask most fans, and it's like just fans are probably split themselves, like in between, like you dig what I'm saying? Like just like individuals, like like I don't know, however this goes, like I'm like this shit is lit either way, but. In the building, like I always ask people that went to 25, what was that like? Because being at 30, like being present at WrestleMania 30 was a trip, because that's when the streak actually came to an end. And it was interesting to kind of be a part of that. And I think about that shit almost every day. But like, I always like to talk to people that've been to 25, like how was it in the building?
Yeah. Basically, after Shawn Michaels was working the knee, Undertaker he goes and he starts to show his dominance because he's the much bigger and stronger opponent. He does old school, he whips Shawn back and forth. Basically, you get the classic Shawn going over the turnbuckle for like a second and then coming back and then getting knocked down by the Undertaker. Shawn does he gets his upper hand a little bit and puts him in the figure four. As you hear JR being like, he learned it from Ric Flair. He's
telling the story.
I know sometimes, or not sometimes, I've been talking shit about JR and King for a lot recently, because to me, I feel like they're overrated in most situations. But I will say, in like the matches that we have done on the watch list that I had to like go back and watch, like when it was time. When it was go time, they were perfect for the situation. Like they for big moments, they were the right choice to do such things.
Yeah, they were on top of their game,
right? And he added in Michael Cole in there too. Like he was pretty much establishing, his role, as far as like being, one of the ones in the commentary team. But I want to kind of go back into like the old school spot. Do y'all remember like when they went initially? It seemed like it was a little bit of mix-ups in the early on the match, because I think it was kind of loud, and I don't think they could hear each other when they was like when they was calling the spots, because Undertaker went for old. It looked like he was going for old school a little earlier, but then he was working Shawn in the corner, and then he pulled on his arm, and it was like a little dead spot for like maybe about 2 or 3 seconds, and then Shawn kind of did his comeback. But if you can like. We can kind of see when the wrestler giving the move to one another. But that's one of the things I did pick up from this match. It was like, it seemed like it was loud as fuck in there, and they couldn't really hear one another, and it was like a couple of mixed ups. And then when the Undertaker, did finally did the old school spot, he limped and he looked like he was blowing up for a little second. He was like, and then he went back to the corner and he missed the big boot or whatever. But there was a lot of little things I noticed like now watching it.
Yeah.
I'm about to say throughout the match, I would like to also say this man Shawn was slapping the shit out of Undertaker the entire time. Because and then I just kept looking because it'd be looking my man. I know he's like aiming for like the chest. He just keep catching him like in his bottom, like in the chin every time. I was like, man, I know he was hating that shit.
And I think that's due to size too, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's why, these two in the way that they are, it's like style wise, it's like, Taker is like the hoss, you know what I mean? Like he's like the big, but then like you got Michaels, who's basically like the super junior, right? And when forced to strike a certain way or forced to go on top, or forced to go over the top ropes, as we'll probably discuss in a few minutes, like things like, you know what I mean, can get a little funny contact wise, you know what I mean, how to execute certain strikes and shit like that.
Oh, does it go a little awry going over the top? So they both end up. Well, first we see Shawn Michaels go to the top rope. He tries to hit him off the top rope. He gets caught by Undertaker for the choke slam. He gets out of the choke slam, which you meant that. First of all, let's stop for a second. I think my fight, like the Undertaker might have my favorite choke slam because I feel like his is just like flawless with it, and like it gets like this amount of impact with when he does it each and every single time.
Nah, by far, like his and Kane's are like the top two. Like Big Show kind of fell with you. Razor Ramon had a straight choke slam too, but his wasn't as like I think Undertaker's is the best one because of how tall he is too, and how athletic he is when he's giving the choke slam. So, and the way that he followed through at the end, it just made it seem like once the person had sold a bump, he like tried to throw their ass like straight to hell for real, like JR said.
Yeah, pretty much. So they basically brawling to get back out on the outside. Undertaker is throwing Michaels into the steps. He's at him on the apron, and he's hit him with a leg drop. They come back there on the outside. They make their way back on the inside, and that's when a few things start to go awry. One of my favorite moments on the match is when Shawn Michaels goes on the top. Undertaker's still out on the floor. He tries to go for a moonsault, and Undertaker just almost hit a Joe. Just gets out the way. Boom. Hits the mat. My man Shawn's looking rough. The ref's looking at him and trying to get him to make sure he's okay. Yo, you good? You gonna make it? And then that sets up.
I thought both.
I personally thought he was.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's over with.
Because he hit that floor hard as I don't know what, bro. I didn't expect him to get up. Then Undertaker gets back in the ring. The ref and Shawn are still talking. Shawn's pleading with him not to stop the match. Undertaker then decides that he's going to try to jump over the top rope. He jumps over the top rope. Shawn pushes the ref out the way, pushes the cameraman in the way, and Undertaker wipes out the cameraman, almost wipes his own self out. Another moment that I thought was about to end terribly, and I'm happy the man made it all right.
He on his fucking head, bro. I was like, nah, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like, this not this wasn't the way. I don't think they thought he was gonna execute it like that. Like Lance dead on his fucking neck. What the fuck?
Hey, dog, this ain't 97, bro. This ain't 97 in your house.
Right.
When he glided over the top rope onto everybody before the in your house before Bad Blood. Nah, it ain't that.
And I knew something crazy was gonna happen because the WWE have the best cameraman, like one of the best cameramen out there, right? So when you see a cameraman, you either A, they not who they supposed to be, or B, they're gonna be involved in the match some sort of way. And I just knew something bad was about to happen to old boy.
So for me, I always have, and that was the thing, picking 25. I'm going through my head like, how is it going to be discussing this spot right on a pod? So like, I always have such trouble with this spot because like, what was the call here? Like, was there a true entry in this match? Like, okay, like you gonna go over the top rope and you gonna botch? Like, was that the conversation? Because I remember even going back to, I believe, Ground Zero in your house. Mm-hmm. The match ended up in a schmaz, if I'm not mistaken. All the other superstars came out at the end.
Yes.
And Taker goes over the top rope and lands on everybody.
Yeah.
Don't know if don't necessarily know if that's a callback. Again, going back to these full circles. But it's like, what? Like I just, it's one of them. But like that's the thing that makes a great match are those mysteries. You know what I mean? Like just certain antics or certain things that might have been happening ringside or anything that might have happened like outside of the ring. Like I just always wonder, like, what was the call here? Did that cameraman know that he was going to get pulled? Like, what was, you know what I mean? But that'd be
fucked up if he didn't.
It would be, right?
man down here just doing his job, thinking.
But he was trained for that moment, if I'm not mistaken. That particular gentleman. I think they say he was that. Like I don't know who he is, but they say like he's somebody. Like he was, you know what I mean? Like that was like a worker. He was, ready for that moment and da. But it's scary as fuck because if you notice in the footage, watching it on film, like watching like the replay footage and like watching the match, like there's a small moment where like right after Taker lands on his neck, like where he like kind of gets up real quick, like and his neck like jerks, and you see like this real like fucked up crazy look in his face, and then that's when he like go back and like it seems like he's like unconscious for a bit, and then he kind of counts his fingers, and then he starts taking his time, but that like quick little neck jerk, like right after he lands, that always fucks me up, bro. Like always. And that will forever be like one of the most realest images like of like the Undertaker's career. Like it really almost became a matter of life and death. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah, that joke was crazy because he crashed and burned jumping over the top rope. After the spot, Shawn Michaels struggles to get up. He gets the ref. He's smacking him. He gets him back in the ring. He's trying to win by count out. He tells the ref to count. He's counting. They did the usual, gets really close. He gets the 9. Undertaker slips under. In my head, like rewatching it, I was like, you know how much bullshit this would have been if this ended in a count out? Even though I know that's not what they were gonna do, but still, like just like this big money match that you just came up to, and what 10, 15 minutes into the match, Shawn Michaels wins by count out. The streak is over technically. Hey, our guy.
Gang. What's going on?
What's up, Chad?
Woo! Made it in. Lord have mercy. That traffic was real, nigga. God damn.
Yeah, hey man, he was out here fighting Trump traffic, so I understand.
Another conversation another day.
Oh, it's all good, man. I don't know if you was tuning in, but we basically at the point where right after Undertaker crashed and burned and killed the cameraman, Shawn Michaels trying to win by count out.
I thought he broke his neck, boy. Like I thought he really, like the way it looked, I thought he really. Shout out to the cameraman. All right, shout out to whoever that was, whatever extra that was, because he may have saved Taker's neck. That's how it looked.
Hey, he definitely saved him. Even though he still hit pretty damn hard on the damn floor, regardless.
Wasn't he laid out for the rest of the match? He was laid out.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He was done. Yeah. He didn't do anything else.
Yeah, man. That was
Jesus, boy, for the love of the game, I tell you.
Yeah, for the love.
I hope he got extra in his paycheck. I would hope so. Cause damn.
The next moment in the match, we have Undertaker struggling to get up. Shawn Michaels tuning up that band. He going for the sweet chin music. He misses. Undertaker gets out the way, hits him by the neck, choke slam, gets a near fall. They both struggling. They don't know what the hell to do with themselves. So Chaz, since you just getting here, what did your how did you feel about like the lead up to everything to this match?
I thought it was like, I would put it up there as, for me, promo wise, lead up. It was one of the best outside of the second one, obviously, because the second one had more on the line. And I don't know if everybody saw what was him, Michaels retiring on that second one, but I thought the leader was solid. I thought the way he did it was good. I thought it was a good time for it, because they already wrestled before, obviously. Probably so. Obviously they wrestled in the 90s, so it wasn't like it was their first time, but it felt like where we were at in the company and where Michaels was at. I don't know if people thought Michaels was out the door, but you kind of sense, obviously this was his legacy run coming back, so you kind of had a feeling like, all right, we're kind of wrapping it up on what we have, and Taker still looked, amazing shape, still looked like he could still go another, couple of years. Obviously that wasn't the case, but I thought the leader was solid. I thought everything was done perfectly, curated. I loved how, Michaels winning his bag promo wise for like, him being like the angel, the light man, not the dead man, with the hat and the jacket, the 16-1 burial promo. I thought everything was done real solid to build it up. I can see why people feel like this one was better than the second one. I thought the second build-up was better because it was leading towards his retirement, but I thought everything they did to get us to this point was well curated.
Oh, look at you. It's like you almost like watched the show and knew what I was going to ask you next. So
I peeked. I didn't want to be too blind. I said, let me be on the road while I'm getting that.
Oh, nah, it's all good. Next, we have Undertaker going for it. He tries to hit him with the tombstone. Michaels gets out, tries to hit him with the sweet chin music. Undertaker blocks it, tries to hit him with a choke slam. Shawn Michaels blocks that, hits him with the sweet chin music, rolls over, gets another near fall. One thing I will say, when they turned up and started doing the transitions in this match, you can definitely tell these are veterans that have been doing this for years upon years. Yeah, just the attention to detail to like every single one of their transitions and like way of how they would block each other's signature moves definitely added to the match.
Beforehand, was Michaels like, Michaels was always a fantastic wrestler, but maybe y'all can remember, was Michaels was deep as far as like submission technical savvy, because this was probably the most I had seen him really pull out his submission bag for this. Obviously the stakes were raised, so you got to come a little different than Taker. Had y'all seen something beforehand before this match?
Not really. I mean, you get moments where, Shawn teases Brett. Shawn teases Brett one time, puts him in a sharpshooter. But yeah, I think this definitely was like the time where he needed to pull it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Going back to that Rick bag, and definitely, I guess, trying to come into the match with something that would match the intensity of something like the Hell's Gate.
Right.
And again, I think how symbolic the Hell's Gate was as a move in this match as well, coming in, along with the language and with the rhetoric of the match, going into it. But this definitely the most I think I've seen.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because he was definitely killing that figure four leg lock. He did the cross face. Yeah, hit the cross face on him. He was definitely trying to get in his bag because he knew he had to come back with that Hell's Gate, as you said.
Right.
That man was in hell when he had him in that Hell's Gate.
Yeah, I was about to say, he sold the shit out of that, bro. He like that dude from the OxyClean commercial. He sold the fuck
Right, Billy Mays.
Shout out to Philly
man.
man.
Yeah.
Billy.
Hey man, it's all good. Undertaker goes for he completes the last ride, gets another near fall and he last ride that man to hell. I thought I knew it wasn't over, but that was definitely one impressive ass last ride to hit him.
And just like Mac was saying about the choke slam, it's all about it's about the height. And with a seller, the best seller ever, you know what I mean? Like the way that he is going to like make that look like, of course he's already high in the air. He already got some height, but the impact, the way he going like swing into it, like into the follow through, like, yeah, like that's probably the craziest last ride I think I've seen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
And like the way the Undertaker do, like it's been power bombs before. We've seen all types of power bombs.
Right, jackknife, all types of shit. Yeah.
When the Undertaker added that little lift to it, it was like, what?
Yeah.
Man, that's a different. Like he did it like
lift a nigga up by his waistband.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like I've never seen a power bomb like that before. Matter of fact, we don't call it the last ride because it definitely was. It was something different. Like,
yeah.
Personally, that was my favorite wrestling move to hit on people.
Yeah.
Hit people. It was the power bomb at first. I ain't started doing the last ride until I got older when he actually started doing it.
It's just something about that last heave. Like, I'm gonna have you touching heaven for real, my nigga. This is in your ass.
That's why I like South of Heaven too, though. That's why I love South of Heaven. Like, I don't know. My boy got his hands full, man. I don't know. Walter, excuse me. I'm getting flashbacks. Gunther, is he coming for that title, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, But
hey,
another story.
Hey, that is fine. We can talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about wrestling in a promo, like leading up to it, a match, I need a good old fashioned brawl, and they did the brawl perfectly on Monday. And they set up with the great promo of Walter basically disrespecting this man all day last week. Such disrespectful the way he was speaking to the champion. Then he came back and doubled down on how disrespectful he was being. And then that man Priest didn't even say nothing. He just was like, fuck it.
Right. Like, what I'm gonna do?
The way he called people broke is fucking hilarious.
Hey, get your flashes shit on, bro.
We let this shit piss me off.
Yeah, it's like, damn.
Am I not doing well? What am I supposed to be doing, Gunther? Shit.
You know what I mean? Like, that's that European, like, aristocratic type attitude. You know what I mean? Like, it's he doing some work, man.
I agree.
Absolutely. We're back to the match. They're both struggling to get up. Shawn, he pushes Shawn over the ring, over the rope. Shawn does his usual thing, like he about to get eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Comes back, gets back up. Undertaker says, "Got your ass." Gets him in the tombstone. Hits him with the tombstone. Does his little pin, his little signature pin. Had his tongue out and everything ready, thinking he LL Cool J and shit. And then he goes 1, 2. Shawn Michaels kicks out. This man, Undertaker's in disbelief. He's like, what the fuck else do I have to do?
That was
to
a
this
classic
man?
meme, by the way.
It was. My man looking tired.
And then the all-time classic line from JR. I am having an outer body experience. That would be the realest shit. But that's like top 5 JR.
Mine was before that when Shawn went for the skin the cat, and it was like, oh no, Undertaker skinning him.
yo, they was hooping, bro. Like,
hey.
I will say the commentary was delivering that night. I have to give it to him. It was solid.
Yeah, Doug. We was just saying that earlier. Like,
it was solid. Like,
we be killing them sometimes, but
yeah,
they were perfect in this match. They gave it everything that they needed to do.
Definitely.
Let's see. So they both, again, a common thing of this match, struggling to get up. Undertaker gets him up. He tries to hit him with another tombstone. Shawn Michaels said, "Got your ass," and hit him with a DDT. Hit him. Not the most solid of DDTs, but whatever. That's not the point.
Just
We
the
got
counters in
superstars.
this match, man.
Indeed. Absolutely. Hit him with the DDT. They both get Shawn Michaels gets up. He goes to the top rope, hits the elbow. Another near fall. Shawn Michaels goes. He goes to the corner again. Tunes up that band. Hits the sweet chin music. Another near fall.
Mm-hmm.
As D-Mac has said earlier, they was killing these damn finishers. These false finishes was aplenty in this match, but they all made sense.
Yeah.
They all, every single one made sense. There's not a single near fall or a false finish in this match where I was like, "Come on, dog, why would we do this?"
Yeah.
Now they did like later on in the match where you thinking, all right, it's about over. Just like the time said, you know, a lot of matches going on tonight. You know what I mean? It's about over for this. Like when he hit this, it's over with, and then boom, he kick out. Like what? Like for real? Dang! Well, them boys had their Blackstone in the ring.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Can we just say that I don't know personally how everybody feels when it comes to, like, I know you said it, like we're not really calling it like a rivalry. It's just more of like two elder statesmen going at one another. So what is like everybody's favorite match between the two?
Between like Shawn and Undertaker. You gotta be
Is it this match?
Nah. I like Hell in the Cell a little bit better. Like it gave me that nostalgia feel. I didn't watch it when it first came out because I couldn't afford pay-per-view. So I waited till the tape come out at Blockbuster, and then you know what I'm saying, I watched it, and it was like I never even watched it or heard about the finish, because you remember WWF or E, whatever you want to do it. They wouldn't show highlights. They'll show the freeze frame of the match. Everywhere,
man,
like,
they was hating. They was hating hard.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch Live Wire to see if they're gonna show some shit. Nope, same thing every time. They just show a still frame. Somebody like Sable, show titty, like, you know, like it's always a freeze frame or something. You know what I'm saying? So actually watching the whole pay-per-view of Bad Blood, and then seeing that junk and how small the doggone Hell in the Cell was then, and how they had to work around that, it was like, that's my favorite one, and how athletic they was, bro. Like that was prime Shawn, bro. That was you know, he wasn't as hurt then, like in that era. Like he was doing this thing, and Undertaker could still, you know, he was being Undertaker, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you know, any hiccups in any of their games at that time. So that was probably my favorite. You know,
correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the same match where Kane returned?
Yeah.
Yes, that was Kane's debut.
Okay, not return. I'm sorry, debut. Thank you.
It's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be. Gotta be.
That motherfucker ripped the damn door off. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh, you the real deal.
Yeah. I think the Cell is my favorite too. Cell is 1A, but this is definitely 1B. But definitely the Cell, and I'm, you know, Mac, definitely this is prime Shawn. This is like, you know what I mean? Like at where he was in his career, where Undertaker was at his at that time. And I mean, even like going in like 97, 98 back to back, like even like those two WrestleMania seasons, just like the ultimate, like that's just like the ultimate test of time for WWE. Like everything they was doing on television, the people who they was putting on cards, like everything was like so intentional and had to be the way it had to be. I mean, we ended up getting like, you know, we got screw job stuff and all of this at one point. You know what I mean? During this run, but definitely that Cell match, that story is ridiculous. The cat and mouse of it all. Like this like told the story of what Hell in a Cell is. Like you're trying to get away from this guy so much so that like you're willing to climb the cell and even fall off of it. So you're doing damage to yourself to get away from this guy. And the way that, again, the greatest seller of all time and all of that, like the Cell is definitely 1A, golden standard 1A between these two gentlemen.
I would have to say, for me, it's the lead up, the final one before Michaels quote unquote retired 26. Just because again, I didn't tap into wrestling until late, and when I was able to tap in, it was like, I think Nolo alluded to it on the podcast, like that. Those like, oh, I'm almost like, oh, this happened, like, oh, this happened. I was having all these moments when I was coming back around. So I came back around that time, and knowing when I first started watching, I caught Michaels late. I caught Michaels the same time I caught MJ. I caught Michaels on his way out the door first time when he wrestled Stone Cold, and I caught MJ on his final, what should have been his final shot. So I wasn't able to really see all of it, but I just remember, the greatest moments I did see. And so when I was able to finally view Michaels on his legacy run in that match, everything that led up, I thought everything was done so well that to me, that was the best leader for their matches. The streak, the career, how he quote unquote, he begged you for a chance. You didn't get it. All right, I got to find another way. You go to WrestleMania, you get close, you lose. So now it's like, damn, what do? You know what I mean? You almost break up again with Triple H and DX. And so you like, fuck it. I'm gonna just go back on some heel Michael shit. What I'm known for back in the 90s and get what I need to get. And he made him lose the title. And then the build up all the way up to it again. And then the match was the payoff. I just thought everything was curated so fucking well. And that match is still in my top 5, just because of, like I said, what led up to it, how I watched it, how I seen it, and what it did for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I gotta go. As I mentioned before, Hell in a Cell is the quintessential match to me. Mm-hmm. It is. I like the storyline going up to it, where like the pod page posted the SummerSlam match with Taker and Brett, where Shawn is a special guest referee.
Oh, that was part of it.
Yes, that's what started it.
Yeah.
That's
another moment. Another moment.
I love when we have these moments where you're just like, oh my god. Yeah, that's what starts it. Shawn tries to hit Brett, hits Undertaker. Brett, he has to count the 1, 2, 3 for Brett. They then go to Ground Zero, the next pay-per-view in your house, where they have a match, and it basically ends in like a no contest.
You talking about Shawn and Taker had a match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it goes into Hell in the Cell because they must have a winner.
Right. right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to go into the finish of this match. Shawn is basically slapping the shit out of Taker for about all the way around the ring. Taker gets the upper hand. He throws him to the turnbuckle. They both collapse. Shawn gets to the top of the turnbuckle. He tried to go for the moonsault again. He ain't hit not one of these things in this match. So he goes for it again. Taker catches him, hits him with the tombstone, does his patented pin. 1, 2, 3, gets the win. Taker is 17-0 at WrestleMania.
Yes, sir.
And the crowd goes wild, as they should, because they had just witnessed one of the best wrestling matches, arguably ever. And so we've gotten to the point of the show where we get to do my namesake, the rating of this match. The leaves, we'll start off with Lorenzo.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving this match 4.5 leaves. After everybody says theirs, I got a question for y'all. It's an overarching question, but I'm 4.5 all day long. Definitely K side gives it 9.6. You know what I mean? It's definitely almost a 10 on that ring side. I mean on that K side seats meter, but I'm definitely giving it 4.5 here. I think that equates to almost the same.
Absolutely. D-Mac.
This goes this match like 5 leaves. This match 5 leaves, bro.
Sure. Yeah, I have like I said, my favorite is the second one, but I have no issues giving this a 5-star. I always enjoyed from start to finish. The false finishes to me was probably the best part, because you didn't know you didn't know who was really going to win. Like, this was one of those streak matches where it was like, oh, Shawn could do it. Because obviously the other ones, you might could feel the same, but you kind of had an inkling like Taker was probably going to. Towards the end of Taker's career, it got closer and closer. You're like, oh, okay, somebody has to do it now because you can see the brightness kind of on the wall. So, and I know Taker said in previous interviews he wanted to give it to somebody it was going to elevate him and gave it to Brock, but that's another conversation another day. But everything that led up to it, and then the false finishes that just kept you on the edge of your seat. For me, that was probably the best part of the whole thing.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 4.5 leaves rating as well. The reason that it only gets a 4.5 rating is because to me, I feel like the next match, the next year, is the one that gets the 5 to me because of I guess I just enjoyed the lead up and the story of it more. And the stakes are higher. So
right.
That's just how, like, when you can implement equate all those things together, then that's what makes the match better to me. And what's the question you had, Lorenzo?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that we get certain spots in 26 that might make you give it that 5 leave rating. Because I want to start respecting the system a bit more because I'm getting a bit more seasoned up here at the watch list. You know what I mean? I just don't want to give something. I don't want to give something a 5 just because. I mean, I know last time we did it with Oku and Will, but you know what I mean? I want to start, abiding by the system a bit better. And you know what I mean? So, but again, we get certain spots in 26 that we didn't get in 25. The moonsault onto the table. Just, beautiful shit, right? That match was in Phoenix, more neutral territory. But so my question is this, like, when we talk about, like, and again, it could be a conversation that can become cliche, but when we talk about the greatest matches of all time, greatest WWE matches, whatever, like, where does this fall at for y'all?
Like this particular match?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
said for WWE, right? Like for just everything.
Well, yeah. That if y'all can answer it in that way, for WWE first, then like overarching second.
All right.
Yeah.
Man. So because I like the second one more, the second one I feel like is more like I would put in like the top 10 of it. So I would put this like top 20, top 15 because that's just how I personally do it with like everything that goes along with like the match.
Yeah, I can respect that for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, sir.
D-Mac.
What was the question? My bad, bro.
I didn't know who was about to go.
Where do you put this match?
Man, I'm arguing with somebody right now on Facebook. Man, it kind of took my mind off. Man, talking about. So all right, I'm a good. So all right, if I'm gonna just go all off the rails on this one, cause I need y'all opinion on this. All right, if Tank said he wants to fight somebody, right?
Okay.
And then, but before, matter of fact, Tank and Lomo not fighting right now. Lomo said that he ain't fighting Lomo. Like Lomo said he ain't fighting Tank. But Shakur always showed like he said, I want to fight Tank. And the coach said, yeah, Shakur said he always want to fight Tank. Let's see if he really wants to fight him. Did they agree to the fight yet?
Like in principle?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that's agreeing to the fight.
The post the dude posted was like, he said, pretty much the fight, yes, fight agreed. Both Javante and Shakur agreed to fight each other next in November this year. But they didn't agree to nothing yet because there's nothing set in stone. So all I said is not confirmed. And he was like, "Did you read it?" Nigga, I read the shit and watched the interview. Like, like he trying to make me look like I'm stupid, but I'm like, bro, you posted clickbait. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? So my bad, bro. I ain't hear the question because
Boxing fans can be a motherfucker, man.
Like this dumbass nigga over here, like, bro, I'm not even trying to go that level with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, bro, like, did you comprehend the whole thing? Yes, I read the thing. Like, it even gave a date. No, who said they gonna fight in November? If they do agree to fight, Shakur might need to fight in December.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just fought.
Yeah, fight fans online is a motherfucker, man. Like,
but it's like I know the old ass nigga. Like it's like this little sport group that I'm in. It's like we all know each other from hooping.
Yeah.
But he constantly say dumb shit, and this was the first time I ever was like, you know what, I'm gonna entertain this shit because I ain't got shit to do today. And then I was like, you know what, it kind of went longer than I expected because it fell me in the pod. But the nigga, man, fuck that nigga, man. Like, he tripping. they gave a date, and nobody, like, Tank haven't said shit. Shakur haven't even said shit since.
Yeah, none of their camps or nobody.
Nobody. It's just been the coaches saying, if Shakur said he really wanted, let's see how bad he wanted.
Yeah.
So did anybody agree to it?
That's not agreeing to a fight. That's just talking about the fight.
That's just calling him out, bro. Like what the?
Yeah,
well, we haven't had a boxing corner in a while, so there you go.
That's it. Some niggas
I was about to say.
I was talking about I didn't need to comprehend, bro. I had a 4.0 in my master's program. What the fuck is he talking?
Let him know, brother. Let him know. But nah, Lorenzo had the question of where do you rank this match in like all time like matches?
Like if every match I ever watched, it's up there.
Like, of all time.
I put it in the top 10. I put it in the top 10. Top 10 for sure. Because there wasn't a lot in stake at the time. Like the matches I put in, like it was a lot of in stake. Like you got, title versus title. You got, the end of an era. That's up there. Performance wise, athleticism, you gotta put that in that top 10, and just the names, the big names alone, Undertaker, Shawn, like their names alone. Hogan and Warrior, even though that was it was a stale match on like watching it, but the moment was a good moment. You dig what I'm saying?
I get it. Yep.
So like all of that in factor, it was a good moment. Two big names, high interest, build up. And so even though they had a couple of botch areas, I definitely put it in my top 10 of all time matches. And then the shit was like match of the year twice, wasn't it? Like in a row, like both of them matches, like both of their matches was match of the year. Because he called them out at the Slammies for this match, the next one. I'm gonna win. I gotta beat you. Like he went psychopath for a second. He said,
like he like lost himself. He had the DX shit on and shit, but like he, them that era, DX, they was doing a bunch of silly shit and all of that. Shawn getting in his comedy bag, which I always enjoy.
Yeah.
But like he just like completely just like lost. Like he lost his smile, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like wasn't no funny shit.
Hey,
post Slammies, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he went in.
Him super kicking everybody's probably one of my favorite moments ever.
Oh yeah,
when he just going down the hallway, just super kicking people.
That was the super kick party. Yeah,
yeah, he's super kicking the little girls, the popcorn.
Oh man, where would you put it at Chad?
So I'm still, learning, and I'm still digging in the crates. So I'll just keep it.
Good, brother.
Yep, I appreciate it. I'll keep it strictly WWE. The second one is in my top 5, no matter what. This one I would say if I was starting the top 10, I would put it at 10. I'll put it at 10.
How about you? How you feel about your answer? Your own question, Lorenzo.
So for me, I think this is definitely top 5 to ever take place in any WWE ring. And if we want to say like that the cell is in there, I think that the cell would be in there too. But again, like everything, again, second, kind of like the second phase in both of these guys' career, the moment 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, like it's all there, right?
Right.
But all time, I think it's a far cry from a few matches. And when I think of the way that this match led up to the finish, I think about, and I'm gonna just say it, right? I think about Okada and Kenny from Kingdom 11.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I know that sometimes people go back and forth between Kingdom and Dominion, like which one is, you know what I mean? But I like more so these strong style matches, that we might see at a Wrestle Kingdom, or at a Dominion, where it's almost like the pace of the match seems more dramatic, because granted, things got a bit serious in the match with Taker and Shawn, once he took the bump outside of the ring. And I think not for nothing that added to like the match and added to, the drama of it and everything. But I think it took away from it in a category of keeping like the viewer of the match like in a certain mode of viewing the match for the whole thing, if that makes sense. I think for a minute, like when that happened, like kayfabe wasn't necessarily broken, but like it was like that same feeling when something like serious happens, and it's like you kind of have to shift how you're currently engaging with what's on your screen.
Are you talking about when he the crash outside the ring?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
It kind of takes it out of like this is still like a very like human element. It's a wrestling match, but like it just kind of changes like the feeling of it. You know what I mean? And I think like with a match, what we saw at Kingdom 11, you had like two workers that were there all of the way through. Like physically, there was really like no like hiccups to where like you had to guess like if a guy was okay, or like, and if you did, like it didn't last for that long. You know what I mean? And that's the real version of like a 5 or 6 star match, where it's like we are watching like an actual like film, where it's like this has already been like pre-taped, the takes, the editing has been done. But but that's what goes into the most classic of wrestling matches for me, when it's like where we can watch it straight through, where it seems like we're watching a film or a movie that had already been written and shot and edited before we watched it. And whenever I can see a match that looks like that, that's the most classic wrestling match. But that one little moment just kind of took away from that factor just a little bit. You know what I mean? So I think overall in the grand pantheon of pro wrestling, I think it's definitely top 15, top 20. It might sneak into some folks top 13 to top 10. But I think for me, it's definitely in my top 10 all time global. But definitely in the top 5 for sure. But I hope all of that makes sense. I just had to trying to explain that. Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
Everything you said made sense, brother. You're good to go.
Appreciate it. Let me ask you this. Well. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Noah.
No, you good.
I just had a follow-up question. Because you went to Kenny and Will, when you think about like matches that had a sequel, we won't go triple because there's not too many of those, but when just like sequel, where do you put those two in your pantheon as far as top 10 or your top 10, top 5, or even top 15?
Talking about the Okada and Kenny matches?
I'm sorry, my apologies. No, yeah, Okada and Kenny, but no, the Taker and Michaels. Where do you put that as far as the back-to-back type big main event matches? Where do you put that in your list?
Okay, as far as like yeah, I think that that's probably like 3rd or 4th to about Kenny and you definitely like in those like yeah. So you talking about like groups of matches that had you talking about like matchup?
I should have said series, like a series, like we had a WrestleMania here, now we're going to WrestleMania. We had a main event this year, and now we're going to do it back to back.
Yeah, I think it's about like middle of the pack. You know what I mean? Okay. Like it's about like probably like 3rd. If I could say, Kenny and Okada, Kingdom and Dominion, and what else can we do here? I might need a bit more time, but it might be 2nd, but I think it's probably about like 3rd, and like these series of matches that might have sequels, and because even when I think about like you said, like Will and Kenny, right? that might be like fourth also. You know what I mean? So I might have to sit with that a little bit longer because
right.
they got that shit too.
Yeah.
Like more recently.
They,
you know what
they
I
were
mean?
busy.
Yeah.
And if Will and Danielson ever run it back, I mean, who knows what that's gonna look like. So yeah, man. Yeah, but it's probably like middle of the pack. It's in there. It gets its just due.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have come to the end of our beautiful broadcast. Lorenzo, as always, as you know, you are a brother to us. You are loved in these parts. We appreciate you for everything that you do and everything that you are. And yeah, man. Feel free to plug everything and let the people know where to find you.
Because you cooking right after this, right?
I am, sir. I am.
Plug it.
Pat the fuck in. So this was actually supposed to take place yesterday. But you know, good brother Mo Atlas Hoodfoot will be in the locker room at 8:30. Right after this, you can catch us at the Locker Room Lead on YouTube and on Twitch at Low From The Lead on X. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk some good stuff. We're gonna talk some deathmatch wrestling. We're gonna talk some summertime stuff. We're gonna talk some music, man. So yeah, right after this, man, we're getting right back into the locker room. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Oh, of course. Look at you pulling double duty. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a little while, so I'm like, you know, and I got a birthday on Friday also.
Yes,
so I'm trying to do a little bit of work, a little bit of labor of love before the weekend. So yeah, man, I definitely had to come back with something cool. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what's up, man. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday,
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Nolo. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
32, man. 32 of them. So try and count the blessings.
32 of them things. We love to see
man. I'm getting there.
That's what's up.
We love to see it. Well, you can find me at Relay of the Leaf on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the two pod pages at BGW Pod on the same two platforms.
And you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. I argue with some dumbass nigga on Twitter. No, Facebook,
Thank you so much.
And man. So yeah, definitely to find me. Motherfuckers need to learn how to read, bro.
And transition to that, you can find me as Max, Vice President on the presidential ballot. You can find Nicholas Scott as Chief of Staff. You can find Nolo as Treasurer. And outside of that, you know what I mean? Sanzo BIG, my man Zoe Twitter.
I am on the ballot.
Yes, indeed. One more thing before we get up out of here, because a few of us have it. I know all of us own it, but here you are. You need to go get this beautiful masterpiece. Your Love Is Necessary by our brother, our man's, our Beyonce, Scotland Underwood.
My mom loved it, so she got it, but I bought it. So
yeah.
Hey, didn't let me take it back. I said, all right, Nick will want me to pass it to you. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, mamas love it, bro.
Absolutely. Buy the fucking book. 180 people. Buy the fucking book.
Please read, y'all. Please read. Also, real quick, I definitely want to plug. We definitely just covered WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. I definitely want to plug the Heartbreak Kid.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Wolverine. On all streaming platforms now. Go get that. WrestleMania 25 is the intro, and on the intro is the WrestleMania 26 promo. You dig what I'm saying? So go listen to that right now. Classic hip hop music for the summer, y'all. Go get that. Heartbreak Julio.
Beautiful body of music.
Shout out to Heartbreak Julio and Wolverine.
Right. Shout out Action Figure 973. Classic verse on the Rockers track. Classic verse. Shout out Action Figure, and go get Pray for Puerto Rico as well too. Pray for Puerto Rico as well, y'all.
Absolutely. Hey man, you know what we do for you, man. You know we love you out here.
You deserve
this. Book number 3, bro.
Let me hold something while you're at it. Nah.
Thank you again, brother, for the invite. Love you always, bro.
Hey man, it is cool. Well, if nobody else got nothing else to say, we are out.
Peace out to my world.
Protect black women, and at the end of the day,
the day gotta end.
The day gotta fucking end.
Read a book.
Yes, sir.
Hood for 8:30, y'all. It's the lead.
Get on there, 8:30. Locker room lead, bitches.
Locker room lead, 8:30. Remember that.